All right, problem-solving steps. They're very similar, basically the same as problem posing, but a little bit different. So let me share with you 4 steps, but it's actually one of the steps has 4 subparts, so it's like 8 steps to problem solving. First, you need to understand clearly what the problem is. Can you write the problem in your own words? For example, if the heat isn't working and the landlord won't fix it, decide if the problem is the landlord or the broken heater. If both are problems, decide which is a priority to solve. Or another example, if the group is not getting along, is the problem one person's behavior, or is it that certain language skills like interrupting politely are missing? Second, create a plan for solving the problem. This step usually is broken down into 4 sub-steps, very important 4 sub-steps. First, you need to brainstorm all the possible solutions. Really important that you brainstorm all the possible solutions. There's no wrong answer during brainstorming, okay? Second problem is that you gather information about the solutions on the list, okay? Third problem is decide which are the best ideas, okay? And fourth, you write out the detailed plan that includes the best solutions. Okay, so it's really important. Brainstorm all the possible solutions because otherwise you might miss something. And people need to have freedom to say even crazy stuff. Okay, gather information then, so you do research, and then you decide on which are the best, and then you decide on your plan of action. Third, you actually do the plan of action, the third step in the line. Fourth, you evaluate whether the plan worked or not. You need to go back and reflect, okay? Remember, that's the step, big step that digital natives are missing. Go back and reflect. Did it work or not? Did it solve the main solution but leave other problems? If so, then start the problem-solving steps over again. If it didn't solve the problem, then start the problem-solving steps over again anyway, because maybe you defined the problem wrong, and so you came up with the wrong plan of action. One of the aspects I love about group projects is that usually you involve the students working through these 4 steps or 8 steps. In the beginning, the teacher may want to be heavily engaged in showing the learners how to create a step-by-step plan that assigns responsibility to each group member. But eventually, students should guide themselves through the 4 steps, and the instructor acts as their facilitator and guide. Okay? So students guide themselves, and the instructor acts as the facilitator or guide. Besides problem solving or problem posing skills, learners may need explicit instruction in learning how to analyze and synthesize information, work cooperatively, prioritize data or action steps, and what language they can use when dealing with these skills. A favorite group project of mine involves creation of an invention. Learners need to decide what problem they want to solve and then come up with an imaginary invention that could solve it. And to be honest with you, my idea comes from a Japanese book called 101 Useless Inventions. So that was the start of this idea. So they find a problem and then they come up with an invention to solve it. They assign someone in the group to be the engineer, someone to be manager, somebody to be accountant, somebody to be advertiser. Of course, there are lots of other choices for roles as well. If they don't like those names, they can come up with their own names or their own roles. They write a description of their invention and create a poster, PowerPoint, or a real sample to illustrate what their invention looks like. They use persuasive language in creating an advertisement for their product. And finally, they share the results in a presentation or an invention fair where others in the school are invited to participate. In the past, I've had students come up with amazingly creative and useful items. We are limited only by our creativity when it comes to developing problem-solving projects.